people are not adding information correctly. I had that this morning, actually. I was at an agency. We're launching their time management program tomorrow, which I'm stoked about. And we pull up the overdue activity report, and all the managers were on the top offenders list of overdue activities. Mr. Mayor Heath Sharon, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Kelly. How about yourself?
What everybody doesn't know, if you're watching this podcast, is 30 seconds ago, Heath had on a sport coat and decided that our viewers were not fancy enough for him to keep the sport coat on.
Wow. Right under the bus. Jeez.
I'm just kidding. It's actually 7 bajillion degrees in Arkansas today, so it's pretty impressive you had a sport coat on just to begin with.
It was 100 and something. Yeah, it's not bad. So I had to take it off. But yeah, you had to throw me right under the bus.
Hey, listen, I'm sitting at an Airbnb in Skinny Atlas, New York, recording this. So
I hear you.
Balmy 60-something degrees outside and rainy.
Oh, I hate you right now because it is hot here.
Yeah, but it's humid. It's summer. Summers in the Northeast are humid when it gets in the summer and it's rainy.
I don't want to hear anything about humidity.
That's all right. We're here to talk about something hotter than the summer.
Yes, I like that.
This podcast is either going to get like a bajillion downloads or none, because so many agencies don't always care about the agency reporting. I know why, and I want to spend some time today talking about like why agencies go on the struggle bus with reports. And I will say this before you tune out: if you're like, reports, I don't want to hear a whole podcast on reports. Get me back to my murder mystery or the insurance dudes or somebody else. I will say this. I think it's egregious and unfair to every agency owner out there how difficult insurance reporting is.
Yeah. And I can't believe you threw out insurance dudes, not even Insurance Town. You threw out insurance dudes. Anyway,
well,
that's okay.
I mean, obviously, those new Insurance Town if they listen to our podcast. Okay?
Right.
Obvi.
Yeah,
I mean, we have almost the same downloads, so it's like I feel like it's the same. Well, maybe not. Yeah.
But going back to reports, I think that's one of the things that, I agree with what you said, but I think that's also one of the things that impress people the most about working with us, and we can kind of organize that data and help them make better sense of it.
Let me start on my soapbox about why I think insurance agencies are wronged by all of these reporting systems. And then I'm going to talk about why we're wrong in the insurance is independent agency owners of how we feel about reports. Because we're both wrong, but I think that it should be easier. So this is what happens in an agency. And Heath, I know you've owned an agency, run a few agencies, been in a million agencies. You're thinking to yourself, let me pull a report on something. Retention, new business, renewals, whatever it is, right? Like something that is like, I need this to operate my business, right? Like we're not even going to go ninja style. We're just going to go like 101. And you go to your system and you fumble around for 15 minutes. You think you got the report. You run the report and this PDF, Excel spreadsheet, whatever you prefer, pops up. And you look at it and you're like, well, damn it, this is wrong.
Yep.
You get really mad because now you got 20 minutes invested. You know it's wrong. And you just get frustrated. And then you decide to do the side hustle spreadsheet to track what you want.
Yeah. But again, it goes back to, where they're wrong and where, people aren't putting their information in there correctly. And then they get mad when you show it to them and it's not right.
Well, it's part of that. And then part of it is like, I'll just use new business. Producer will be like, oh, that new business report's wrong. Well, somebody's going off to the binder date, then the report's on effective date.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Or they're saying that policy is not right. Well, yeah, it is. It's a 6-month policy, but you put a year's worth of premium on the freaking spreadsheet, or all of the things that happen. And so we just sort of do this and throw our hands up, get frustrated, and either do a workaround as opposed to making the data right, or we just keep operating our businesses off of feelings.
Sure. And I have a feeling you're about to tell them they need to put together a process or some sort of, documentation system.
Well, where the management systems need to get their act together is actually make reporting. So you don't have to have a requirement like of an MBA in that systems reporting to make it work. Okay. It's like way too complicated.
It is.
And where insurance agencies need to build a bridge, zero excuse environment is take the courses, understand the report, spend the time on it, because as your agency grows, you're going to make those decisions that you have to make are going to cost you a lot of money if you're not making them with math and you're making them with feelings, right? The important thing is that in 2022, you have access to the information. It is challenging to get to, and it will take patience and probably a couple months to actually go through the issues with it. But I can't think of something that agency owners need to invest more in 2022. Like, why do so many agency owners focus on new business when we don't even know our closing ratio? We need more leads. Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Right. Agreed.
And if we're coding things right in the system, we have a lead list called your lost customers or your own unsold quotes for following the right processes and procedures.
Yeah. And there's new business from doing the retention calls too, not to mention.
Right. So it's like the management system is a mothership and you must read the user manual.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to end up spending a lot of money on marketing that doesn't work, producers that don't produce, a retention rate that is illustrious and mysterious and uncertain.
That's a lot of big words.
I know, lots of us's. My message to my agency owners is you just got to get it right. Like zero excuse. Tell me an excuse. What would be a reason an agency owner could give you, Heath, that you would say that's fair for them to not go through the pain points and the suck of having to get their reports right? Is there anything that you can think of that you'd be like, you get a free pass?
No, unless they want to admit to me that they're lazy.
Right. I mean, I can think like a
I still
death
don't give
in
them
the
a pass,
family.
but at least I could give them an A for being honest, maybe.
Yeah. I could think of, we're running up the two management systems. We have to combine them. I don't know. There's probably a few out there, but most of them are just, I'm lazy. I don't understand how to get it right. So,
but Excel spreadsheets are so much easier.
You and I had this conversation yesterday, which I won't go into because
you were all about throwing me under the bus today. I got you.
Angry Kelly might come out.
Okay.
Might come out.
I got a glimpse of that yesterday, and you don't want to piss off Kelly. She's got a little inner tiger in there.
For all of you listening out there, looking at your side hustle spreadsheets, like you're literally cheating on your management system, which is, other than your payroll, probably your second biggest line item. Right. So you pay a lot for this system and then you cheat on it with Excel. And the Excel spreadsheet is still not right, by the way, because people forget to use it.
Right.
And then things change. They don't go back and update it. And then your management system is wrong. And you're more comfortable with the spreadsheet than you are with going ahead and getting your system right.
Well, good point you brought up was the duplicate entry that you have when you're entering it into a spreadsheet and the CRM and the agency management system and whatever Word document you've got and whatever you've got in your phone notes and here and there. When take Apex Time Management, you can learn to put it into one system and it'll be all good.
Yeah, I think we got to get people using the systems. We got to get people comfortable reporting. But like, let's talk about the steps we take, because all of our programs, we have reports that we look at, right? Even if you're going to get our online school, which you should if you haven't already, it comes with a guide, PDFs, videos for HawkSoft, AMS 360, and Applied Epic on how to do what you're learning and be able to track your team in the system. If you're like, Kelly, I just don't even know where to start. This is not my wheelhouse. I'd say, any one of our programs comes with this. So it's like an added bonus. Your team starts hitting their potential and you get tracking.
Yes, very true.
So at the end, you can be like, Kelly and Heath, I had 3 times my investment with you. You guys are amazing.
Yes. And then their agency management systems are going to be thanking us too.
Yes. And their team thanks us and everybody's so happy.
Everybody's happy. It's a win, 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 win.
Here's the process we go through. Step 1.
All right. Step 1.
We give people instructions on what data we need.
Okay.
Step 2. Yes. It comes into APP. We look at it and say, did you follow the instructions?
Believe it or not, they don't all the time.
No, because sometimes you forget a field that's really important that we need. So then we send it back. You can send us what we need. Then we do an initial pass of the data, clean it up, put it into beautiful graphs and charts. And then inevitably, even though sometimes I send a nice email and a video that says, hey, here's your data. Here's where I think there's some issues. I'll get an email that says, this is wrong. Now, here's the cool part. There's probably 20 different dashboards to look at. So when you say this is wrong, that's not super specific, right?
Right.
So I'd say, cool. Let's get on a meeting. What's wrong? And then we go through the 4 things that could be jacking this up. Dun, dun, dun. Item number 1, Heath already did a spoiler alert.
Oops.
People are not adding information correctly. I had that this morning, actually. I was at an agency. We're launching their time management program tomorrow, which I'm stoked about. And we pull up the overdue activity report, and all the managers were on the top offenders list of overdue activity. And when you see your name in bright lights, right? Like on a big screen in front of your peers, all of a sudden, it's like the puke of excuses, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this is everybody's, by the way. So if my friends here are listening to this, it is not a direct hit on you. This is literally what happens in every agency.
You can't crawl underneath your desk quick enough or the table.
And so then it's like, well, it just didn't change the day. It was a holiday week. It's like all the things. I'm like, totally. My point is, it's all right. Like, this is the first time everybody's seeing it. It's meant to do this. So
what makes it even more powerful at the end?
Well, and then inevitably that night they go and make everything right. And then from that point forward, the reports for them are spotless. So I'm like, cool. We just had to skin our knees a bit.
Yeah.
So then we find out the why. So data entry. Next one is download. Download jacks things up, right? So if you don't understand your download, you're going to probably have some issues in your data. Every carrier downloads differently. I'm going to say it again. I do believe in commercial download. Some people are now immediately turning off or running their car into a tree while listening to this because they hate commercial download.
Right.
But you just have to know, how to tame commercial download. Commercial download is like trying to go in hot pursuit of someone you're attracted to. You have to understand it and woo it. And it's delicate. And every day it's changing, right? Like some days it might be that this carrier is good and the next day it could be broken. But some agencies I've been to, legit, the download for some companies hasn't been coming through for months and they just never knew it.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to tame your download.
Yes. Especially in commercial, but that's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah. I could go on and on about commercial download. I will save that for another podcast. So you got download. The next one is you just don't understand what the report's trying to tell you. You look at the wrong field. Like there's about 7 different premium fields in an agency management system. And all of them are going to tell you something different. And you're looking at maybe annualized premium and you think your new business number is way inflated when it's really an event policy that's duplicated 365 times.
Yeah. And what about the difference in like premium and annualized premium or
an estimated premium and estimated revenue? There's a lot.
Or 3 or 4 different codes that look the same, but they're a little bit different.
Yes.
That one always frustrated me.
We didn't renew a policy on time because we didn't believe in commercial download. So now we've got all these policies that don't look active, but they are.
Right.
Or I talked to a new lead last night, actually. Nice guy. Does a lot of trucking. They do a lot of agency bill because it's trucking. Yeah. In accounting, they were just paying the invoice from the carrier, not confirming they had money from the clients. So that's a want-wah moment.
Mm-hmm.
And could easily happen if you don't have the right processes in place, right?
That's very true. Trucking's a whole different animal altogether. I can't imagine what that's like, chasing down truckers for payments. But
they're very, very, they send a lot of referrals though. So it's just like,
yeah, that's true.
Like we talk a lot about commercial niches sometimes, and it's like all the niches have their own like profile.
What other industry out there can talk to each other and their competitors on a walkie-talkie or a CB? That's pretty cool.
Right. And they all eat dinner at the truck stop and, all the
things. They'll hang out
right?
and then all know each other. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a fun one. The other thing that screws up data, Mr. Heath Sharon, is like we're not putting the right date ranges on reports. So the date ranges, we're looking at it. We had this with a client. They do a lot of ag. The new business report week by week is wrong because they have to do manual entry and they do it at a certain time. Then we're pulling the report by effective date. But when we pull the report for the week, that it's like almost like we're missing backwards work. Like when I say that these reports and download everything, it's something that just has to be understood, and then you have a lot of power. I do want to ask you a question. So we do these reporting dashboards. We know clients of ours appreciate the fact that we're willing to walk through the fire with them in the brimstone and hold their hands, and that we've hired major management system consultants to help build guides on how to get it right. Of all the reports that you've seen, so you've been here for 9 months with us now, all the reports that you've seen, do you have like a favorite report that you look at with clients? Because I have one.
There's a couple that I like, and not because they're my favorite in any other sense of just the reaction I get from it. The overdue activity report is one of the ones that gets the most reactions, and people get a little squirrely about it that's when the excuses slide. You can hear some fun excuses on those. And then the salesperson in me, I love looking at the hit ratio and the new business reports, but I do like the overdue activity. I may have stole your answer, but that is one of just to see their faces when that report, because you're watching the screen with all their faces, their eyes get real big, like, anyway, that's just
and then it's like, that's not right. I'm at 0 right now. It's like, well, the report was pulled yesterday. Okay, that's great.
Right.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
I love the overdue activity. I actually like the activity report too, because I think it shows when people aren't operating in their role. We had that conversation today of, a client calls you and you just do the endorsement versus sending it to the team that's doing it. But you're backlogged and overwhelmed, but you just did the endorsement of somebody that the agency's paying a whole nother role to do. I also we've done incentive dashboards where you can see what the incentive that you put up, and it's super cool because the team can see every week like the pot of money for their incentive. I've had some really cool moments, like it's the end of the quarter, so they think the team thinks that they're good, and then all of a sudden the pot will drop negative because like they lost a commercial account that was big, or somebody didn't update the system, or somebody canceled temporarily for non-payment, and then no joke, everybody and their mother starts calling them to get payment.
Yeah.
Depending on the agency's procedures, but It's like, I'm going to call this person 17 times. It needs to reinstate before the bonus is over.
Yeah.
And it's like they are fighting hard because now they can see how their hard work impacts their bottom line. So I do like that one a lot.
Well, there you go. I was going to ask you, like, what are some other reports that not only you talk about it in a blog that's been coming out, but also any other reports that you feel like are important that they should run?
Yeah. So one report I think is important is actually not a management system report, which is your phone report. How many phone calls, average talk time, because it's kind of amazing to see how different people operate. So some people like to operate more email, right? Some people like to operate more phone, but that's a big one, I think. Because then it's always like in every agency, once you get to a certain size, I have the same conversation, which is so-and-so doesn't pick up the phone. Like whatever, if there's a receptionist or director first impressions, there's always someone on backlog or they don't have a receptionist. It's just everyone picks up the phone. And then it's like, you look at the reports and it's like, why does so-and-so not pick up the phone? So I like the phone report. I like the new business closing ratio report. I also like to see the new business leaderboard report, like who's writing the most.
Yeah.
Because that one to me is also super interesting. Another one I like, and I think I like this for a weird reason, but we actually calculate the true average commission rate for personal and commercial lines for a lot of clients.
That's interesting that you like that one. Tell me more about that.
Well, I like that one because a lot of people think like, oh, on average, it's blah, blah, blah. What we find is so many instances, personal lines pays more than commercial lines. You know, some of it's just like, you know, low workers' comp, or you put stuff in E&S markets. And
that's true.
But the idea is like, well, hey, let's grow some of the personal lines. You're getting paid 15.55%. You're getting paid 13% on commercial. There's some difference there.
Well, yeah, you got to account for E&S and you got to account for, like I said, workers' comp. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Another report I like, which a lot of agencies don't do this, but I believe in it. And I don't always get people on board. And I respect the fact, I can respect why agencies didn't do this, but I do believe in charging fees.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know you're going to an agency today that's got a heavy fee scenario. And again, some people right now are like, click, I don't want to talk about fees, but I'm asking you to keep an open mind. If you need to fund producers, you could fund producers by feeing your bottom tier clients who are costing the agency the most money. And if you run them off because it's a $10 fee to walk in and pay cash, you know, like you can.
But isn't that something you got to be careful with state laws and stuff like that too, though?
You do. Every state's different, but every state allows it. You just have to, some states you have to have your counselor's license, and every state has some different guidelines. But here's the thing. If you can get good at selling fees, like if you think about it, when you get a mortgage, there's fees baked in.
Oh,
doc
for sure.
prep fee, you know, et cetera. When you go buy a car, there's a doc prep fee. We are the only industry with as much paperwork as we have, I think, that doesn't charge a fee.
No, you're right.
I think it seems a lot like the non-standard shops. But I'll tell you what.
Or the E&S markets. Yeah, no, I got you.
There's a lot of opportunity there. If you don't have to do it to everybody. You got to think creatively on it. And every state is different. Heck, if I could fund a producer on it, I would be happy.
Yeah, why wouldn't you be? Makes sense.
So then it's amazing to see once you put a fee program in place, how many people actually have the guts to charge the fee, because that's the second half of it, which is always a unique scenario. Now you've got my report wish list. The other one that I do like, I've been doing a lot of these lately, payment dashboard. How many payments are you taking?
Okay.
Agencies are often shocked at how many cancellation calls they're making due to non-payment, how much payment really could be bogging your team down.
It's a good one too. I will tell you, one of the things that we haven't, I don't think we've done this yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like as we're introducing the Apex commercial. Is I want to introduce tracking referral sources within your books. A lot of the management systems can have a place in there where you can mark referral sources and where it came through. I'd be interested to see what that looks like and how that's going to look. I think all agencies should track that and identify who their top referral sources are and build a nice little relationship there and build an experience for those referral sources too.
Yeah, I think that that's an easy one. Source of new business is great. I like to also track remarketing hit ratio because that's another time suck. So a lot of times you have to get agencies kind of working the right remarketing workflow, but that to me is ginormous. So ginormous. I know I get a little fired up about reports because it just boggles my mind. And being at us, like we work hard at reporting a lot, and it's not always pretty upfront because you got to change your workflow, and we have patience with reporting. We know hey, let's just look at this for 30 days. Like before we go and do anything crazy, let's just look at it. Right.
Yeah. The thing that you always say is numbers never lie. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't have feelings. You have a lot of things about numbers and it makes sense, because a lot of people, I feel like listening to this right now are like me in the fact that they see numbers and they paralyze, or they see reports and they get scared. And so,
It's like weighing yourself after Christmas. No one wants to know the true number. But when you know, you do better.
Listening to this, hopefully you can understand you've got a friend in the business that can help you with that as well. And you can hang out with our friend Kelly and see if she can help you understand those reports.
Well, and our friends Steven and Sue and Angela Adams and Mike Trillian and all the people that we have contracted with to help with agency reporting. Here's the scoop. All of the reports we just talked about today are in our agency assessment program, which is like a physical for your agency. If you're sitting here saying, darn it, I want that. We get secret shopper calls. We've got a survey. You get to work with Heath or I for 6 months on getting your game plan together, job descriptions. We build incentive plans. It's literally like just getting all the things you have on your wish list done. If you started this process right now, you'd be going into January super clean, super awesome with reporting dashboards up and running. Only because I have to get on to a time management call with an agency that has done an assessment. I just want to say that if this is interesting to you, you should definitely check it out. If not, check out our blog. It literally lists all the reasons why. Like, I took this whole thing in my head and said, here's all the reasons why your reports might be messed up. And then here's the top 6 reports that we recommend that you running just to get you started. So like, if you don't want to pay us a single penny more, if you have enjoyed this podcast, you can go like it. If you didn't enjoy it, don't like it. Don't leave any comments. Don't do anything. Just go to the Insurance Town podcast. He won't talk about reports for the next few podcasts. Just so no one has PTSD. But check it out because, we're here to help agencies grow. And to me, the metrics is one of those things. It's not sexy. It's not fun. It's not a marketing campaign. It's not getting Google reviews, but it's the backbone of growth. And so at some point in time, if your agency keeps growing, you are going to have to cross this hurdle. And it's so much cooler to do it with a best friend named Heath or Kelly. I'm going to leave you with that.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to leave it off.
All right, guys. Well, have a great day. Check out our blog. Check out our podcast. Check out Heath's podcast if you didn't like this one. And we will check you guys out later.
Everyone loves Kelly and the Ridiculously Amazing podcast.
And if they don't, they love Heath's Insurance Town. All right, I got to bounce. Bye.